Hello, welcome to Sim Racing Corner. I am back today with some 3D printing ideas for sim racing. I had a specific purpose when I started on this mini project. I have a mobile phone which I use with sim racing dash apps like a lot of us do, and I wasn't able to position it in a good spot where I could clearly view the screen from my seated position. And it occurred to me that I might be able to find the solution through 3D printing. So I went ahead and trawled various online 3D printing model repositories, and what popped out were GoPro accessories, specifically the various arms, connectors and mounts which have become a standard. And in the 3D printed world there's tons of GoPro accessory related stuff available. And another bonus feature is any 3D printed parts are compatible with regular commercial accessories, so this gives us a vast amount of options to mix and match custom parts to fit our purposes. And this is the avenue I went down for my solution. I found what I needed and downloaded a bunch of models and got printing over a couple of days. All the models I'm using can be downloaded from the links in the video description. I do already have a few GoPro accessories, including mobile phone holders, which I could use in conjunction with the additional 3D printed parts that I need. But as an extra challenge for this video, I thought why not just rely on 3D printing and see if I could manage to assemble something that way. The first thing coming off the production line was this single arm. I just wanted one component to see if it was any good and test my infill setting of 15%. It seemed very sturdy, so I proceeded to print these various arms and connectors that came in the same pack of models. I didn't know what sizes I needed exactly, so I printed a selection to give me some options, leaving out the longest arms from the pack, which went up to 15 centimeters, which were definitely unnecessary for what I needed. These prints came out really well, a good result to get us started. Again, these are all printed at 15% infill, and the components still remain very strong. Next I needed a base, and I dropped a few different models into Cura, the slicing software we use, so we could print them all in one go. 50% infill this time for added strength, as they will be under quite a lot of stress. This lot took about 3.5 hours to print off. We have bases we can screw down, one with a flat base, one with a recess in the bottom for gluing a nut into, and others, so I think we're fully covered here. Thumbscrews are another component we need, so I printed these as well. These use 30mm M5 hex bolts. It was a bit tight and needed some effort, but manageable with a little ingenuity. I printed another set afterwards, the one shown here, and increased the print size by 3% to see if it made it easier to seat the bolts into the thumbscrews. And it was a lot easier this time. And finally, we require something to hold the phone in place. I found a couple of designs I liked, and here they are. Candidate number one is this one. It comes in two parts. It's a tidy looking design. The two parts are connected by way of the top part sliding into the channel of the second piece. Tension to hold the phone in place is provided by an elastic band you thread through and hook to the top. There could be questions of durability because of that thin rod, but it does clamp down on the foam quite firmly, so it works as intended. The second phone holder uses the same principle of one piece inserting into the other, and also uses an elastic band. It's certainly more robust than the other one and perfectly fits together and slides in without any resistance. This phone holder looks rather similar to this all-metal one I have here, but this one costs £15 and does the same job as our 3D printed one, which costs only about 15 pence to print. That's quite a difference. 3D printing is really cheap if you haven't worked that one out already. And out of our two prints, I'll be using this one as there's no chance it will fail. It's a great practical design and very easy to print. Moving on, we now have our final selection of printed parts. In total, I spent around 14 hours printing all these bits, which may sound like a lot of time spent, but you just set it off printing and making sure the first layer has stuck to the printing plate, and you just leave it to get on with the job and return once it's done. Armed with a cup of tea, it was time to start putting this contraption together, with the added threat of Simcat jumping in and disrupting proceedings at any given moment. Fortunately, at the time, she was playing Dirt Rally in VR. I did think about recording that, but no one cares about watching cat videos on YouTube. And this is what I came up with. I'm using the 2, 3 and 5 centimeter arms, which gives us a good amount of freedom of motion and reach. And the base I've chosen has a hole in the bottom to screw in an M6 bolt. The hole is more narrow than the bolt, so you actually thread the hole by screwing it in. It holds perfectly well, as you'll see in a moment. Okay, we're sitting in the rig and it's time to attach it. I've drilled a hole in the tabletop and an M6 bolt is already in, poking upwards. So it's just a case of screwing it into place. It's now firmly attached to the tabletop, so job done. Once you've tightened down the thumb screws, it's not going anywhere. I do appreciate the purple PLA I'm using is not going to be everyone's first choice, but for the sake of being able to clearly see the model against my cockpit, it made sense for the video at least. I may well print this again in another colour later on. Using 3 arm attachments has allowed me to position my mobile phone dashboard into lots of different configurations. And in reality, all we've done is moved things a few inches closer, but it makes all the difference. I can now view the dash more clearly and comfortably and reach the screen without stretching. I love this mod. It's a big improvement actually. If you have a sim rig yourself, I'm sure you can understand where I'm coming from. Small adjustments and tweaks of the placement of hardware can make significant improvements, and that's what I found here. And also, by showing what I've done here may spark some ideas you may have to exploit 3D printing using these versatile GoPro attachments. I'm sure I'll be using these again for some other mods in the future. So if you have some of your own ideas already, please drop your comments below the video. I would be very interested, and it may be something I'll feature in a video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe if you do like my content. I'll be back soon with more stuff, so stay tuned. Happy simming, take care, and bye bye for now.